Just when the Sussexes thought they had successfully navigated around yet another potential accommodation debacle marring Prince Harry's passion project Invictus Games, a new front has erupted in their long-running feud with the royal family. In a move widely interpreted as a punitive retaliation for recent controversies, King Charles III has reportedly barred the Duke of Sussex from being afforded the traditional courtesy of staying at Balmoral Castle while in the United Kingdom for next month's 10th anniversary event in Dusseldorf. The denial of this symbolic privilege represents the latest salvo in an escalating rift with his estranged son and daughter-in-law since assuming the throne, and it's already sparked outrage within Harry's circle, accusing the new monarch of pettiness at best and triggering ethnic trauma at worst. After all, Balmoral has historically welcomed senior royals born into the firm ahead of major public events requiring advance accommodations coordinated through palace channels. Now being excluded from those protocols despite hailing from His Majesty's bloodline has allies claiming this flagrant snub further illustrates how the line of succession remains poisoned by the very bigotries the couple fled into stateless exile over 3 years ago. For a so-called magnanimous head of the Commonwealth to unilaterally banish Prince Harry to maliciously withholding this honored family tradition reeks of barely concealed vengeance over the kinds of petty grudges most of us abandon after, like, middle school, proclaimed Danny Trin, Hollywood celebrity fixer and close confidant to Meghan. They say you can take the boy out of monarchical colonialism, but you can never extract the dehumanizing hatred toward anyone with visibly racially blended genes from the institution itself. Charles's transparent bigotry here merely underscores how the very same demons oppressing Meghan and driving them into defiant abdication remain sickeningly systemic. While the official line from Buckingham Palace sources remains that the contested travel accommodations are strictly a matter of limited availability and pre-planned security operations that would render a Balmoral sojourn logistically infeasible, Harry's supporters have interpreted it as yet another intentional humiliation tactic. They contend these supposed palace bureaucrats conveniently become laissez-faire about protocol enforcement whenever it suits King Charles III's known disdain toward his self-exiled younger son, whom he reportedly still blames for carelessly escalating the rift to begin with. After the whole embarrassing debacle with those obscenely over-the-top hotel demands Meghan made on the Ministry of Defense, Windsor courtiers started licking their chops, dreaming up equally petty payback strikes they could sell to King Pettiness himself as solely pragmatic concerns over resource management, snorted Stuart Rampling, author of the Royal Exposé Making the Monarch, the Reinvention of a Billionaire Mind, detailing Charles's ruthless ascent. Denying generational tradition to someone of Harry's birthright is absolutely a shot across the bow, sending a know your place reminder he will always languish as a disgraced afterthought stuck begging for even baseline family privileges without their express blessing. Indeed, this latest House of Windsor saga appears to perfectly punctuate the complete rupture between Harry and virtually his entire royal lineage ever since the Oprah interview detonation almost precisely 3 years ago. By most insider accounts, the new king has led an unrelenting hardline stance following the Sussexes' self-immolating publicity tour, lobbing scathing accusations of heartless mistreatment and racism directed squarely at the firm itself. Palace sources consistently paint Charles as not only unwilling to make any substantive peace offerings but gleefully capitalizing on whatever minor opportunities arise for petty revenges or public gestures, codifying their irreversible excommunication. Even something as minor as temporarily welcoming a working visit to the extended monarch's vacation estate under normal circumstances would require immense political wrangling and optics management at this point, according to palace observers. The PR team would essentially have to game out whether granting Harry and Meghan any shred of royal welcome risks inadvertently legitimizing their grievances that the family inherently operates as cold-blooded racist tyrannies unfit for modern society. Denying the same courtesy creates blowback accusations of cruelty, potentially alienating whatever mainstream goodwill Charles retains stateside. In the end, by choosing the harsher path, critics contend the move deliberately adds an extra indignity, only reinforcing existing Sussex victim narratives. Let's not forget this is still the same cold-blooded monarch, more concerned with the carbon footprint left by floral centerpieces than the emotional abuse his son openly accused him of, fumed Candy Palmcrest Ray, Society chronicler and steadfast Meghan partisan, in her latest Substack blasted diatribe. Charles foolishly believes withholding basic human dignities like traditional hospitality without so much as an explanation somehow weakens Harry's stature and resolve to keep speaking truth to the BRF's ingrained bigotry. Good luck believing that calculus ends up anything but another catastrophic personal and PR failure for the king, as Invictus shines a global spotlight on exactly what he did to this war hero. As royal superfans worldwide impatiently await the next inevitable counterstrike or leak stoking the seemingly eternal PR proxy wars over who proves more unsympathetic this time around, the real certainty appears that chances remain virtually nil for any form of rapprochement between Harry and his father the king ahead of an event explicitly meant to celebrate veteran warriors overcoming adversity. Whether Charles inadvertently created the narrative setup for a wildly triumphant underdog story or a defiant middle finger at the institution remains the multi-million-dollar question Invictus punters reckon they already know the suspenseful answer to before it even unfolds. Based on the story, the public reaction to King Charles III denying Prince Harry a stay at Balmoral Castle ahead of the Invictus Games has been one of outrage, especially among Harry and Meghan supporters. A few key points about the public reaction. Harry's allies and celebrity confidants like Danny Trin have accused Charles of pettiness, vengeance, and barely concealed vengeance with this move. They see it as a punitive retaliation against Harry over recent controversies. Trin and others claim the denial represents a racist snub and dehumanizing hatred toward Harry because of his biracial marriage to Meghan. They say it shows the monarchy remains poisoned by bigotry that the Sussexes fled. Royal author Stuart Rampling suggests the palace is using logistical excuses as a pretext, but that denying Harry this traditional privilege is really a shot across the bow, reminding him of his disgraced status outside the family's graces. Commentators like Candy Palmcrestray accuse Charles of cruelty and inflicting emotional abuse on his own son Harry, reinforcing the Sussexes' victim narratives about the royals. There is a sense among Harry's supporters that Charles has unwisely created a PR nightmare and narrative of the monarch bullying his heroic veteran son ahead of the inspiring Invictus Games event. So in summary, at least among the Sussexes' loyal public supporters, King Charles is being portrayed as vindictive, racist, abusive and foolishly giving Harry an opportunity to portray himself as the victim of unfair mistreatment ahead of his passion project's big milestone. The backlash appears fierce from that corner.